This podcast is recorded at the Zone Gym studio.
You're listening to the Raw Reality Podcast hosted by Tori Story and Fit with Lily.
I've decided I'm quitting being a girl. I've had enough. I'm out.
She's done.
And I'm done.
Yeah. We've reversed roles. Kind of, not really.
Yeah.
But I was in that phase of my last cycle of quitting everything. Okay, so did we speak about this on the podcast? Because I don't think we did.
I think we have once. Also, guys, hi, welcome back. We love you so much.
Hello, welcome. So like, I don't know if anyone else experiences this. I know like some people would, some people maybe not. But like the few days before your period, most of the time, I want to just stop everything. Like I want to just like quit my job.
Yep.
Go work a 9 to 5 that I don't have to put effort into. And then I'm like, and I just get so negative. I'm like, what's the point?
That is literally me right now. I find every second cycle my worst one. So December killed me. That was actually my worst ever.
Yeah.
January, it's like I didn't even have one. And then this month, I haven't gotten it yet. I'm literally waiting any second. But my emotions are fucked. Like last night, I was just thinking, why am I doing what I'm doing? Like I put so much effort into it. There's not much reward. Let's just quit. And then I know in a week's time I'll be completely past that.
Yeah. Or even a couple of days.
In a couple of days, yeah. And then this morning, I'm just like, Kate's like, what's wrong? I'm like, I don't know. And then I just start crying. And I'm like, I can't control my emotions right now. Like, I literally cannot. Like, nothing's wrong, but I'll cry.
I've cried more in the last 2 days than I have in the last 6 months.
You have.
So there's that. Woo! Killing it. So, yeah, you could say we're surviving.
Not thriving.
Kind of am, kind of not, you know, just like it is what it is. Anyway.
Yeah. And then to throw another spanner in the works, like I already wasn't having a good morning. I was really trying. I just wasn't. And I'm halfway through my workout and Kate's oh yeah, are you going to just get changed at like Zone and then record? And I was like, no, I'll go home first, eat breakfast, get changed. And he's like, you only have like 30 minutes. And I was like, our podcast is at 10. He's like, no, it's not. It's at 9. He's like, I have someone else coming in at 10:30. I was like, oh my God. So then I literally just finished the set, got my stuff and left to go home to quickly get changed. But then I was halfway home and I thought, I didn't actually even need to go home. I stayed at Kate's last night, so I have my makeup. I had an oversized tee, which I could have just put in like my hair in a slick bun or an oversized tee, call it a day. I could have finished my workout, but now I have to go and do my workout again after this. Anyways, I'm done complaining and it's going to be fine.
It's really ironic with today's episode. I know. But before we get into that, we're going to just go through our updates. There isn't too many. There really hasn't been many from me at the moment.
No.
So I'll just go. Went to Melbourne on the weekend, had my cousin's wedding, and it was so good. I feel like our family hasn't been all together in like so freaking long just because like all our cousins are like, either getting married or having kids or like everyone just has their own lives. So it's been actually years since I'd seen some of my cousins, which is criminal. But it was so good. It was the most amazing wedding. Besides the fact that there was thunder, lightning, pissing down rain.
Oh, storm.
So it was like fine. Like, so when we were driving to the venue, it's like 3 hours from Melbourne, we went through like a full hailstorm. Like it was insane. Got through 20 minutes and then blue skies where like the venue was and we were like stunning. Then as the ceremony was starting, we started to hear some thunder and you could see like black clouds coming over and we were like, holy shit. And I was like, it's a wedding. There's no way it's going to rain in the ceremony. Like it just won't. It's core belief. Anyway, so ceremony starts and, absolutely beautiful. It's like thundering and it's like so moody and like sexy and like it was actually such a vibe.
Was it raining while you were waiting?
No, it didn't rain like at all. So then they do their vows, they put the ring on it, they kiss the bride, they walk back through, party. The second that it was like, all right, like let's head to like the reception area, it started to like spit. So it was literally perfect. We go to the reception area and they're all like the bride party's getting photos and stuff. And it was really cool because like my cousin who got married, 3 of her bridesmaids were like our cousins. So it was just like such a family
wedding.
Yeah. And then, it was, storm got so bad. Like it was pissing down. We're all in the reception area and the whole site lost power. Like literally nothing. Like they didn't even have a generator. And I'm like, in the country, you should have a generator just for like this sort of thing. And especially at a wedding venue. Anyway, no generator. So there's no air cons. It's literally 40 degrees. Like it was so hot. We ran out of water so they just had alcohol. There was no water. And then
the fridges would stop working.
Yeah, they couldn't cook because of electricity.
Music?
I think there was no music until we found a portable speaker, like the building did. And obviously you could imagine how stressed they would be. Like it's a freaking wedding.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it got to like, obviously in Melbourne, the sun sets at like 7:30, 8. Yeah. So it got to like, I think it was meant to come back on at 6, got to 6. Nah, everything got pushed back half an hour of like when the bridal party was coming back because they were trying to find a speaker. Yeah, it was just like chaotic, but like also still perfect because they were off getting photos. The rain had stopped at this point. Then they got their outside photos and we're all just catching up with family. And then I think the bridal party came back in about 6:30. I don't think the power came back on till like 7:30. But I think they must have had gas because they could ended up cooking some of the meals.
Oh, thank God.
They just had to like change it up and stuff. So yeah, and then like the rain stopped and then it was like rainbow, the most amazing sunset. Like if you've seen my Instagram post, it was so beautiful. And then yeah, the music came back on and it was just like we danced all night. My uncle was so drunk, the father of the bride.
I love going to events like that because you just see people get so drunk that you wouldn't normally.
Like all my cousins were, well, not all my cousins, most like the bridal party, they were all pissed. My cousin who got married was so drunk. And you know when someone's so drunk, they're just repeating themselves like over and over. And she was like, thank you for coming all this way. Like, thank you. And I was like, yeah, okay.
I gotta know.
And I like wasn't drinking, so I was just like, cool. And my cousin's so funny. Jackson does not dance. Like he is not on the dance floor unless he's like really, really drunk. Yeah. They were pulling him up left, right and center. My uncles and aunties were like pulling him up to dance. One of my cousin's bridesmen, he's like one of her gay best friends and he used to be obsessed with Jackson and he would like pulling Jackson out, was like dancing on him and it was so good. Funny. And Jackson was like, I don't know how you do this sober, like literally impossible. But it was just like such a beautiful wedding and like she wore her wedding dress was like princess, like massive because she has such like different styles. So we just didn't know what she'd come out with and this dress was just suited to her so perfectly. And then her second dress, she wore her mum's old wedding dress, which was 34 years old.
Oh,
and so she just like
nice.
cut it, added jewelry, and it was like so beautiful. And then they did like the father-daughter dance, and then she did a mother-daughter dance. And then it was like mothers, sisters, like all the girls came on the dance floor and danced, and then like a beautiful dance like Mamma Mia. And I was just like, wow.
Fun.
It was
Weddings
so
are really
nice.
fun like that. Yeah.
So now I'm excited for like all the rest of the weddings we have this year. But yeah, it was just stunning. And then it was literally like I flew in Thursday, Jackson flew in Friday morning, drove to the wedding, had the wedding, was there till like midnight, got up, caught the train back to Melbourne at 6 a.m. He flew out, I stayed another night, and then I flew home.
Yeah, it was chaos.
So it was chaos. Definitely like a tiring weekend. And then just like with all of that, I haven't spoken about this yet and I'm not like saying anything yet, but there's just been like a massive opportunity that's come my way. And for the last 2 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah.
I've been trying to make a decision. It's basically the only thing that's on my mind. My appetite's really dropped, like constantly nauseous. When I was in Melbourne, like it was like testing the waters of this opportunity. And yeah, basically just like have to make a decision over the next couple of days.
And apparently she has.
Yeah, so we're just like navigating that. I had kinesiology yesterday. And like I said, I haven't cried this much in like the last 6 months. So yeah, it's just like, it's exciting, but it's also scary. And it's also, you know, my acupuncturist this morning was like, you're allowed to feel more than one emotion. Like you're allowed to feel like grief and like sadness, but also excitement and like proud.
Everyone's going to be like, what the fuck is happening?
No, literally. So yeah, like eventually I'll go into detail and like you'll find out soon.
Probably next episode.
Yeah, it's like it's going to happen soon. But yeah, it's just been a big process.
It has been for you.
Yeah. So that's why I've just been a little bit quieter on the Tory Story front.
Yeah. Because she's like, I'm actually doing nothing but sitting there and pondering my whole entire life.
Yeah, pretty much. But anyway.
Last week was like such a good week for me. I think I put on my story. So I was like, it was just the best week for not really any specific reason. I just felt so good. Obviously had not hit my luteal phase yet.
I was just about to say, it's so polarizing how you're like, I can have the best week. And then like 3 days later, I want to quit everything.
Literally.
Like, why as women do we have to feel this?
Annoying. It's actually fucked. And some people like don't feel it. And I'm like, how? Like And I wish I could explain it to Kate. Like, I wish I could explain to Jackson. I wish I could explain to boys.
Well, Jackson's just like, I called him after kinesiology and he's like, how you feeling? I'm like, yeah, like bawling my eyes out, so many different emotions. He's like, you should just have one emotion like me. I'm like, I actually hate you.
Yeah.
Like, And
Kate has way more than one emotion, but
yeah, well, at least he shows it. Fucking Jackson is actually a robot. And I was like,
he's a robot.
Anyway, whatever.
Yeah, and I'm just like, anyways. But I had a really good week last week.
Yeah.
Zone and Define had the event here on Friday, and it was incredible. It was very much like I have no idea who's going to come, how many people are going to come, because it was a free event and they didn't really have a gauge on numbers. The whole event was kind of meant to be outside, and it was pouring with rain.
Crazy.
So they had to there was meant to be there was a mechanical bull as well as like a food truck, a DJ.
Oh yeah, the mechanical bull did that.
Well, they had to close it over. So for a while, and everyone was lining up at the gate. So it's basically at 2 p.m. the first 200 people got free goodie bags. So people came at 1:30 lining up. And then it poured. So they had to just let them all in because
true.
And then they kind of got the goodie bags early and it was so fine, but it was just hectic. So many people came. The goodie bags went so fast. And then probably an hour in, the rain stopped. And then the mechanical bull, the food truck, the DJ, it was so much better.
Yeah.
But thank God the rain did stop because it probably just wouldn't be as good.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was so much fun. It was incredible. A lot of people ask how are they related? Which is a fair point because it's kind of really confusing. I've had people message me on Instagram being like, how is Zone and Define a thing? And I'm like, well, Define actually sponsors Zone to have their signage in the gym, and so all of their exclusive athletes can also train in the gym to get content, and then there's Define behind it. Basically, when they come here, they come host their events. It's their location. So that's kind of why, because I think Australia is almost probably one of their biggest sales areas. So yes, that is why. Then Saturday, I almost felt hungover from the day before. I was exhausted.
That was me after the wedding. I was didn't have a sip, and it was just because I danced all night, music was loud, and you're just tired.
I was exhausted, and we played tennis with our friends, which was just so fun. Then Sunday, I had a Lux posing boot camp from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. So that was a huge day. Morgan, who's my posing coach and a pro bikini athlete, she ran a full day event at Zone. It was basically we started with a goal setting thing, then moved into a 2-hour or an hour and a half training glute session, which was actually really fun with everyone. And then we went into some lunch, came back, did mobility, did a huge posing workshop, had some more food, and then I actually spoke at a speaking about mindset, discipline, all the things, and then we did recovery. So it was a huge day. I was speaking at an event like this, I feel I'm very comfortable with public speaking now. It's not really, I don't get too nervous or anything, second guess myself. But kind of the day before, I was wait, this is a whole different kind of zone that I'm speaking in. These girls are bodybuilders themselves. They're already athletes. They're already you would say higher up within that kind of space. I feel I'm used to speaking to people who are trying to get into the gym, who are trying to get motivated, and I'm really good at targeting that audience. But speaking to people who are already disciplined and already doing those 1%ers, I'm wait, what do I actually say? Because there was girls there who beat me last year, and I was kind of had a little bit of an imposter syndrome moment. I was wait, you beat me and I'm speaking to you. And I was that's weird. So I feel it kind of threw me off a little bit, but I really just went in there. Everyone asked me, you nervous? I'm no. I really had to tell myself, I was confident, which I definitely was. I was not really nervous going into it, but I just definitely felt I didn't have much value to say. But everyone said it was really good after, which is awesome.
What was the main thing you spoke about?
I didn't really speak too much about discipline. It was more so enjoyment of prep. You get to choose that this is what you're doing, as well as I think a lot of it was just positive reinforcement, how to have a strong positive mindset, because a lot of the time people can go into prep and being oh my God, this sucks, this is hard. But at the end of the day, it's literally your choice. Then I spoke about having a word, which we kind of always do. And that was good. We went around and everyone spoke about that. And then also growing season and how to navigate that kind of area. So it's very bodybuilding focused because every single person there was a bodybuilder. So that was really fun. And yeah, that was kind of honestly my weekend. That was pretty much it. I don't feel there's anything else.
It's you love those weekends because it's so amazing, but then you get to Monday and you're actually didn't have rest or a weekend.
Kate and I were what did we do Sunday? I forgot, but I was just no, we went for a walk Monday morning and we both did. I'm today's Monday. We still... Here we go again. We're starting again. I'm I did not have a weekend. I am dead. Yeah. And there's so many things I'm trying to do because Kate and I are going away tomorrow to Friday. I'm Okay.
At least that's like.
I'm so excited for that. I think it's come at the perfect time with like my cycle. Like I'm getting, which is also really annoying, but I'm also like, it will probably be good.
Yeah. So, just to like actually chill.
Yeah. So yeah, that's been my life.
Yeah. There's a bit on, some would say.
Yeah. Guys, you asked and we delivered. Reboot is back and better than ever.
You guys absolutely loved our first round of this last year in 2024. We had over 600 of you sign up. It is our 6-week challenge of fitness and mindset and really focusing on elevating your lifestyle.
There are 2 different programs you can choose from, either an at-home workout utilizing dumbbells or your body weight, and then also one in the gym focusing on strength. Doesn't matter if you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced, these workouts are made for you.
There is also 6 weeks of mindset modules, which include videos and a workbook for you to complete over the 6 weeks of the challenge.
And we can't forget about our beautiful community. There is a platform for all of us to interact on, celebrating your wins, navigating your challenges so we can all support each other.
If this is calling your name, it is time to enroll now. We start this challenge on the 3rd of March. Everything you need to know and to enroll is in the link in the description below. But with today's episode, we wanted to talk about how to truly be happy. And I think like it's something we've learned over the last few years, and we've just got notes and notes and notes on going deeper onto like how to achieve that. And I think it's not just like one thing. It's literally going to take so many different avenues to find happiness, and it's not going to be, you know, just overnight and you're going to be like, oh, like that's how I find happiness. It's going to be about putting in the work day after day and like trying to be happy. How do I word this? Like you want to be happy for the rest of your life and know that there will still be bad days, and it's not just like trying to achieve being happy every single day. It's like we just said, like last week it was a great week for you, and this week you know that your hormones are just a little bit out of whack. So like mentally you're just doing what you can to keep a positive mindset, and so that is where your habits come in to like keep that up and not just like spiral down.
Yeah. Well, our first point of this is basically redefining happiness.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the time we think when I lose X amount of kilos, I'm going to be happy. When I get a promotion at work, I'm going to be happy. When my partner proposes to me, I'm going to be happy. You go on a holiday. That is almost like our vision of happiness. But I could sit here right now and be like, I'm not happy because I'm having a bad week. No, I'm probably like, I feel so grateful. I'm the happiest person alive. But equally, I can still have bad times and not feel 100%. But that doesn't mean I'm not happy across the board.
And I think when you can realize that, it just escaped my mind. When you can realize that it's a part of being human and life that you're going to have bad days is when you can kind of take the pedestal of happiness away of what it should look like. And this, as we said, like it's about redefining it. Like what does happiness mean to you? Because it could be, for me and Lily, could be completely different.
Yeah.
Jackson and Kate could be completely different. Riley and Taylor could be completely different. So it's like, if you don't know what happiness means to you, then how do you find it?
Yeah, that's a really good point. Because I know some people who hate getting up at 5 a.m. in the morning. They couldn't think of anything worse. That is Tori and I's happiness, our morning walk. We love it so much. There is no point trying to force that on you if you don't find enjoyment out of that. Your enjoyment might be watching a series on Netflix. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that might be your happiness. Or it could literally be, I love hiking. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of hiking.
It could be you love running marathons.
Yeah.
Personally, I am not doing that.
Yeah.
I tried not running marathons. I tried to run 3K and I just don't enjoy it.
Yeah.
That's not my happiness. My happiness is when I'm like dancing, performing, talking on the podcast, like being in front of an audience. Like, you know, that's like my career side of happiness. And then I have my fulfillment of just like day-to-day life, being with Ziggy, being with Lily and Jackson and friends and family and, you know, sitting on the couch on a Sunday and just chilling out and having dinner. Like there's so many different pillars that come into it, and it can be career, personal, friends, family, whatever it is, travel, that define your happiness.
It's just like, it's kind of such a random example. We're sitting on the couch last night and Kate puts on his anime show and he's so excited to watch it. Like when he watches it, it's almost like he transforms into like a 5-year-old. Like you can't have a conversation with him because he's staring at the screen.
Oh,
it's so funny.
gosh.
But I'm like...
And I know what he's like. If he's like on his phone, like you cannot talk to him.
No, you can't. And I was like, I'm going to go to bed. He's like, are you not enjoying it? I'm like, no, I really actually hate it. He's like, no, like I promise you'll like it. I'm like, Kate,
we've tried this.
I actually hate it. I'm actually going to go lay in bed. I don't care that you're down here, but I'm going to lay there until your show's done, and that's going to make me happy. Yeah. Being here right now with you is actually not making me happy.
I don't want to listen to this shit.
Yeah.
Do they even talk?
No, it has like
It's cartoons.
it's anime. He'll be offended if you say cartoon.
Sorry, he's not editing this.
It's in Japanese and has subtitles.
No.
He was like, "Are you reading it?" I'm like, "No, I'm looking at the pictures. I'm not reading right now." Like, sorry.
No.
It's wild.
And no wonder he has to concentrate because he has to read what they're fucking saying.
Literally.
Yeah, no, not my thing.
No. Happiness, though, it's an inside job.
Yeah.
It's not like, yes, you can achieve happiness from external factors. Like, of course, buying a new car is going to make you so happy. But the end of the day, if you strip that back, it's the accomplishment of buying that car that makes you happy. It's putting in the work for years or months or whatever it may be to get yourself to a point to buy the car. So it's really flipping your perspective on it, on what actually makes you happy. It's inside.
And now I feel like this is where you guys need to take the time to journal, write in your notes, text it to your best friend, whatever it is, and like ask yourself what defines your happiness and try and really like get clear on what like actually makes you happy and not what makes your best friend happy so you see them happy. Like if you could just erase everyone, erase everything, what makes you your happiest, and then how can you bring more of that into your life? So now we have like little sections. We're going to break it down. The first one is something I harp on about literally every episode, I would say, is self-awareness and alignment.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, as I just said, if you don't know where your happiness comes from, how do you chase that? You don't. You're literally walking blindfolded through life. That's exactly what you're doing. So you need to really get clear on what it is that makes you happy and really figure out how you can like read yourself and start to be self-aware when you're in environments, in whether it's, you know, your work or whether you're at home doing work, whether you're training for something and going, is this actually making me happy? Or am I just kind of doing it because it makes them happy and I want to please them?
Everyone almost experiences this at the end of like a certain job that you're doing, or like career-wise, or at the end of like a sport. I feel like for me, when I was doing cheerleading, I loved it so much and it made me so happy. And then I lost that happiness and I just kind of came into like routine and autopilot. And towards the end, I was like, oh, this sport's actually not making me happy anymore. I'm just so used to doing it and comfortable doing it and showing up every single week that it's just a part of my life. And I really had to reflect back on it's not making me happy. I went to like Worlds twice already. And then I tried out for the third time, got into the team, started training. And I was like, I'm not happy. I'm like literally forcing myself to go to these trainings. I'm only doing it because it's a great achievement. I got into Worlds again. And I actually spoke to my coach. I'm like, I'm not doing this. Like I'm out. And I pulled out of that Worlds because I'm like, that's not making me happy. So that wasn't in line with me at the time. So it's acknowledging that your happiness is going to change in what you do. And that's where self-awareness is going to be so crucial, because at the start of something, you're going to be self-aware that makes you happy, but you also have to notice when that battery starts to drain.
Yeah. And it's really just about asking yourself questions like what excites you, what drains you, and are you living in alignment with your values? Because your values are what is going to make up your happiness. So if you're like, no, I don't know what makes me happy. Okay, what are my values? For me, it's friends, family, movement, healthy foods, you know, whatever. We have our own values. So you need to align them together. And that's just like the more you can ask yourself these questions, the more aware you're going to become throughout life to then make those changes.
True happiness comes from like within and not that external validation piece. Like, yes, it feels so good when someone says like, you look so good today, or like, I'm so proud of you. But if you don't believe that yourself, it's not going to feel as good. It's like when I feel my worst and Kate's like, oh my God, you look so good today. I'm like, stop lying to me. Like literally shut up, because I don't believe it within. So that compliment isn't going to make me happy. So at the end of the day, you can get as much external validation as you need. But if you're not happy internally, it's not going to happen.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Number 2 is gratitude and perspective. We love a bit of gratitude. And growing up, I didn't know what gratitude was. I didn't understand it. And as a kid or a teenager, you're always just like, want more, 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 more. And you're never like, oh, like my parents have worked so hard so that I can have a food on the table and a roof over my head. Like you don't think about that stuff. And then as you grow older and you're actually the one working for those things and putting in the work and the effort to make your life be what it is, then you're like, wait, I'm actually so grateful that I have these things, that I have these contacts and connections or whatever it is that makes up your life. You start to go, wait, I'm actually so grateful for it. And then you start to receive more because you can stop and reflect and appreciate.
Perspective has been a huge thing in my life, and I think it helps so much with positivity, because the situation will arise and you could either go down that rabbit hole and be like, oh my gosh, this sucks so much. Like, it's not what I wanted. It's not the outcome I wanted. But if you change your perspective on it, it's like, okay, cool. maybe I didn't get that, but now I'm moving into another area. Maybe this is way more for me. A good example I like to use is what's her name? Oh, Kylie Ross, a YouTuber we love. I think I've said it on the podcast before, but she tried for dental school, studied like through a whole school trying to get in there, and she didn't get into dental school. So then she just focused on YouTube more, and now YouTube is her full-time job, and she has like a supplements company and everything. So I'm like, if she went to dental school, that wouldn't be her career. So it's like actually using those kind of changes in your life as like a positive and just flipping your perspective on it.
Yeah, I think perspective as well for me, it's like through a part of my life, I would say a few years ago when I was going through the biggest transformation, it was like everything was just so negative. And like growing up being a positive kid and being raised by a very over positive mum, like that was my life. And then when I was going through my thing, it was just like all negative, this, that, and the other. Whereas now I'm like, I will only ever look for the positive because that's where you learn and you grow. And I did a post on this literally last night, a reel just on like how much has changed in the last 5 years because I've chose to show up and chase the dreams and have a positive perspective on any challenge or obstacle that comes my way. Because then as soon as you look at it from a different lens, it changes everything. It changes like your whole outlook, and everything's just going to feel different because I feel like so many people get stuck in that like downward spiral of I don't have this or this has happened, but I wanted this to happen. But it's like, okay, what can I take from this happening?
Yeah.
Even though it may not be the thing that I wanted, it's obviously meant for you.
And it can be so hard to be positive through everything. Like we're not telling you something really bad actually might happen. And it's okay to feel the feels or be unhappy with it or angry and all of those things. We're humans. We're going to be reactive sometimes. But it's like, okay, an hour later, a day later, even maybe a week later, can we reflect on the situation and not let it linger longer than normal? I think that's also something to focus on is like, yeah, okay, it may blow up in the situation, but over the next day, are we going to let it prolong or are we going to fix it? Exactly like missing a session in the gym, like to keep it super surface level, or like going out for dinner and overeating, all of these things. Like you can let that linger, or you can just be like, okay, cool, that was fun. Let's go again the next day. And it's just like kind of keeping it at that surface level thinking almost.
Well, it's like you have to feel your emotions.
Yeah.
Because without feeling your emotions, you're just squashing them down. Then how do you meant to be self-aware when you don't know what emotions you're feeling?
Yeah.
So it's really important to feel the emotions, to cry, to let it out. And that was something my mum always taught me, was like, always cry, let it out. Sometimes she's like,
someone that says always cry, you don't cry that much.
I used to. It's honestly just been in the last 6 months because I've just been really happy, which is great. But if I know I'll just need a good cry. Like at the moment, if I'm speaking about the situation that I'm going through, I will literally like just cry. Like when I was in the kitchen, I was like, I could literally cry.
Yeah, I thought you were about to, but I was also about to. So I'm like, we both can't do this right now.
We've got a podcast to record.
Like, if you go, I'm going.
I was like, breathe and speak and breathe and
Well, I
speak.
walked in here and Kate was like, have you been crying? You look like you have. And I'm like, yep, let's done. Leave it at
Let's
that.
not talk about it. Makeup will run. But yeah, it's really important to feel your emotions because without that, you're squashing that down and you're not being self-aware and you're not learning yourself.
The next pillar is one of Tori and I's favorite, is movement and health. When you feel good within yourself, happiness just like exudes from you. Exudes? Is that the word?
Sounds
Pours, spills, overflows from you. You just feel so much better after a gym session or after even a good meal when you've meal prepped. Those little habits make you feel so good. If you don't move your body, you're not going to feel good. And that's like naturally as humans, like literally exercise gives us dopamine. It like releases a chemical that makes you feel happy. So if you're not moving your body, it makes sense that you don't feel good because you're not releasing that chemical.
And if you're not feeling good, how are you meant to make the best choices for your life? I know when I'm not eating well, if I've gone away for the weekend and it's like you've just had to make do and I'm just like, I'm feeling a little bit puffy and like brain froggy. Like I know that I can't make the best decisions when I'm in that state. Or if I've not moved my body and I've plonked on the couch for 24 hours straight, I'm not going to feel great. Therefore, I cannot make great decisions from there.
Yeah. Also, when I don't feel good, I'm not as productive.
Yeah.
When I've woken up and I'm like, oh, and I feel like sloppy or my hair's messy, I need to wash it. My eyebrows are everywhere. Even if like if I don't have my nails done, I'm like, I don't feel good. I'm not working.
Yeah.
Like I literally can't be productive because nothing feels in alignment. So when you feel good, everything else flows on effect.
And then to just put it in perspective, may or may not have spoken about this before, but I'm going to say it again and I'm going to say it loud and clear. You are going through life. When you have your boyfriend taken away from you, when you have your dog taken away from you, you can still function. Yes, it's terrible. It's really, really sad. You're going to go through grief. you still have your health. You still have your fitness. You're still mobile to do everything in life. If you have your job taken away from you, sure, it might be a little bit uncertain. There's like a bit of change happening. You still have your health at the end of the day.
Yeah.
If you have your health stripped from you, what do you have? Everything else is going to go with that, because you cannot go through life without your health. And that's just like the hard reality. So when people aren't putting in the effort into their health, you know, they're not going to have the life that they want, because that's where the beginning is. If you can't get that right, I'm sorry, but you can't get anything else right.
It's like when people can't become codependent on their partners or even a friend or whatever it may be, a family member, and all of your happiness relies on that person. Like you said, if that gets stripped away from you, you're going to almost feel like you're left with nothing. You're going to feel empty and like you have no happiness because you got happiness from other people. But if you know that while you're in that relationship or that friendship or that work, you are also doing all of those things that make you feel good, literally exactly like Tori says, it takes away from you. You still know that you're going to be okay. And I think that's what a lot of, like, I'm going to say young girls, I'm under 26 is probably going to be the age, is that if you go through a breakup, it almost is probably a harder period in your life than if you break up over that age. Not to take away from anything, but I'm like, the older I get, the more that I feel like I'm okay, I'm good by myself. Not that I want anything to happen, because apparently my body says I can't live without Kate. But do you know what I mean? Like the older I get, I'm like, no, I'm actually okay no matter what, because I look after myself.
Well, yeah, exactly. I think you just get more sure of yourself. Again, you know your values, you know what makes you happy, regardless of having a partner or not, or having friends or not. You can get yourself through life on your own.
Yeah.
And that's like a really beautiful place to be in.
It is. Yeah.
The next one, number 4, is meaningful connections and environment. Again, we harp on about this all the time, but it's truly going to change the game. If you know you're stuck in circles and friendship that are so toxic and are draining you, how do you expect to grow and expand from there? How do you expect to be happy in that circle? Your friendship group is going to be, or the top 5 people you surround yourself is going to be everything to you. Yeah.
If you have like a partner, this is something that really opened my eyes to it. Would you want your son or your daughter, whatever it may be, to turn out exactly like your partner? Because if so, well, that's amazing. I feel like that you found that like incredible connection that's going to uplift you and everything. Exactly the same in a friendship. Like if your little girl turned out exactly like your best friend, would you be happy, or would you be like, oh, not really happy with a few things there? I feel like if you're falling into the not really happy part, well, then it's also probably taking away from like your life too, because you need those people to be like uplifting, to support you, to want you to succeed in every single area and you feel safe with. So it's literally like a little girl, if they turn out into anyone in your friendship group, would you be okay with that?
I feel like I've been doing that so much lately. I said it to Jackson last night. I was like, if we had a little girl, well, not a little girl, if we had a daughter and she was, you know, something where between our age, going through what I'm going through now, like what would you tell her? Or I'm just like, okay, if I had a daughter in this position, what would I tell her? And it's just like,
to follow your dreams.
It's just like you do have to stop and think like, if I'm raising a child, like what would I want them to do? What would I want them to follow? How would I want them to feel? And I think that's where you have to stop and go, okay, everything else aside, what do I want to do? And that's just like, you know, there might be times where you're going to have hard conversations with friends, or, you know, that relationship might just dwindle away. Like everyone's going to be different in how they manage it. But I know for me, like we had school friends. Lily is fortunate enough to have like such a good connection with her school friends. Not that I don't, but we just all went different directions. And I think I was talking to a girl on the weekend, and she has finished school last year, and she was like, my friends have just completely turned on me, and like because I'm chasing my dreams, like whether it's jealousy or not. And I'm like, that's just where in high school it can get so messed up, where you spend every day together and you feel like you have to go on.
Well, it's like false friendships.
Yeah, it is truly. And it's like you feel like you have to leave school with those friendships, but you're all going to go in different directions. You're going to meet new people. And like for me, every single one of my closest friends now, I did not know until I was over the age of 22.
Which is crazy.
Yeah. Literally wild. I still, of course, have, you know, I have one particular friend from school who I've known since I was 3, like his family friend. And we don't have to speak every single day. And I know I could call him at any point. And there's like those friends there that I know I could call if I ever needed. But like, it's just, I've just grown and developed, and I've gone into my own life and created my own life that I now have people that support that life.
2 things I want to add to this as well is noticing if your battery feels uplifted around them or if it feels drained after them. That's like a really big indicator of how those friendships kind of like support you. And then number 2, if you have really good friends, amazing. But if you want that extra level or that depth, because I find sometimes if you've been friends with someone for so many years, it kind of just like, it's not like that you don't feel like you're growing together, but it's just you're so used to it. But it's also challenging that friendship and be like, let's go into deeper conversations. If you feel like with your best friend, or you feel like you gossip all the time and you speak about things that aren't actually relevant, change the conversation. Like you can lead that in a way that's actually going to feel so much more empowering. Because sometimes with our friends, I'm just like sitting there, blah, blah, and they're like, we'll ask like such an out of the blue, intense question. You're like, the fuck? I was not expecting that. Yeah. But it just all of a sudden like sparks that conversation. You go deep immediately with your friends. So you can also push that with your group.
Yeah, you might have friends that you're like, no, I actually love them and I want to be friends with them. But with where your relationship is, you might not be happy with it. So that's going to come down to a hard conversation of like, hey, I'm sick of the gossiping. I'm sick of the drama. Like, let's focus on our lives and where we want to go. Yeah. And again, hard conversations, how you navigate them is up to you, but you just have to define that.
Yeah. And the last pillar here is purpose and growth. Your happiness will come when you feel like you have purpose in your life. If you don't feel like your job is giving you purpose, you're not going to be happy. Now, you can also find purpose outside of your job. Like it doesn't necessarily have to be your career. You can be a mum and that can give you so much purpose. You can have like a small side hobby that you love, gardening, and that gives you so much purpose. You know, like you don't have to follow the social norm of like, okay, well, to have purpose, I have to own my own business. Like it does not have to be that way at all. It's what you truly feel fulfilled with.
And I think it's also knowing that being happy isn't just about a feeling. And that's where like if you and I to sit down with the Tori and Lily that met at Joe's Cafe
in Henley
4 years ago, they would just literally be like, who the hell are these queens? Like, do you know what I mean? Like when you can look back and go every 3 months checking in and going, have I grown? If not, how do I make growth happen? And like, I think, yes, you've obviously grown. You've grown from the age of 15 to the age of 25, of course. But it's now when you get to that stage of like really creating your dream life, you want to be checking in every 3 months going, okay, have I pushed myself? Because if you have these big dreams, they're not going to happen without you growing and getting to that next level. So it's like checking in and like in a way forcing growth and being like, okay, what's going to challenge me? How can I get the most out of myself? How can I reach my full potential? How can I challenge myself? Do I have the people there to support that? And then make decision from there.
Yeah, period.
Because purpose is like your direction of life.
I wish I could give the answer to that as well, because so many people will come to you and be like, how do I find my purpose? And I'm like, dude, I got no idea. Like, you have to find your own.
Literally, if you go and watch my reel, I don't know, it would have been posted last week if you're listening real time. It was basically my journey in the last 5 years. And I just kind of, because I just hit 3 years of living on the Gold Coast and I was like going through to make a post for that. And then I kind of spiraled down into like the 2 years before when I moved to Gold Coast, and it was like moving to Hobart, moving to Adelaide. And I was like, I've literally just forced myself to take every opportunity because if I haven't, I would still be living in Melbourne, probably miserable, probably just like not here having a podcast, you know? And so I just had to go like, I've literally put myself in the position to not have no as an answer and just like take every opportunity. And I think when it comes to finding your purpose, there is like no one can give you the answer. It's going to be you trialing something and failing something, trying something, learning something, figuring it out along the way. But as long as you're taking every little step towards what feels right for you in the moment, you can't go wrong. Like it literally can't be wrong because you're doing what feels right for you in that moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, leading into the next little area is little habits that are going to make you feel your best and feel happy. Because a lot of the time we can wake up and be like, I just don't feel happy again. But you have to put actions in place to make yourself feel good.
And these are surface level things.
Yes.
And they're things you will hear all the time on socials. If you listen to mindset podcasts, if you listen to, you know, self-development books, this is like the shit that's repeated. And what we're going to do is repeat it.
Yeah.
But so maybe we might say it just differently. It might just land a little different. Yeah. Because that's
all. Or because you just love us so much, you might actually take value. It's like when your mum tells you something, you're like, got it. But someone actually like that you value. Not I value my mum. That doesn't
be listening and be like, excuse me. No, okay. Example of like our coaches would always be like when we'd get a new coach in for like a week, it would just everything would hit different because you want to impress that coach, whereas your coach coaches you every single day.
There we go.
Yeah. I get what you're saying. Okay, so I think there's like 5 here.
Yeah.
Super simple, super effective. Start your day with an intention. Someone who actually put this on her story this morning was Steph Claire Smith. I don't know if you saw it. She was like, I woke up on the wrong side of the bed this morning, and I don't know if it was Harvey waking up at 5 or there was something else. She was like, I just grumpy, not having it. But what I did was got up, I had a coffee in bed with my family, and I journaled and I set an intention for the day, and I'm flipping my day around. And it literally is that simple if you try hard enough. If you just go, yeah, I want to have a good day, and then you don't, and then like, okay, cool. Like you're not really trying that hard. If you can stop and be fully intentional, journal. This morning I went on my walk, listened to a full podcast, and then I listened to two like activations on the Rise and Conquer the Rise app. And I just was like, yes, like it's just like reaffirming everything that I need. So when you can sit up and set an intention for your day, but then act on that intention. Don't just set it and then see how the day goes. You have to act on that intention. So if that intention is to be happy, okay, what makes me happy? Cuddling Ziggy, make sure I do that throughout the day. Going for an ocean swim, all right, I'm going to go at sunset.
Just doing this.
Sitting on the couch, I'm going to make sure I do that for 5 minutes today. Like literally action it and make sure that happens.
Yeah. I had something so much that I wanted to say that whole entire time, and you wrapped it up.
Sorry.
I was like waiting. I was like repeating it in my head to not forget it. And I remember now.
She got it.
I got it. Something that I've really noticed for myself, if I go on my phone, like, and I scroll, which sometimes I do because I wake up, my alarm's going off, and I'm like, just automatically sometimes just open Instagram. I notice if I'm on like my phone a little bit more the first hour of the day, my screen time for the rest of the day is way higher than it normally is. If I intentionally try to not open like Instagram for the first hour, my screen time is down the whole day. It's because Alexis Fernandez was saying it's that dopamine. So whatever dopamine hit you get in the morning, first thing, your body tries to chase after that for the rest of the day. So it's like if I've opened my phone and I see a notification come through of Instagram or like a new comment that's really nice, I'm like, oh, that's made me feel so good. The rest of the day I'm going to be like, oh, do I have another comment that's good? Did this post do well? Like my dopamine hit is going to come from social media. If I don't check my phone, I literally stop my alarm. I get outside the sun's going to fuel me for the rest of the day. The outside, the fresh air, the like calmness, that is actually going to be my dopamine for the day. So I was like, ever since you said that, it's been so interesting because I've really noticed myself and the difference that it does make.
Yeah. Well, I like for probably 2 years now, like don't touch my phone in the morning. I woke up at 4:30, didn't open Instagram till 6:30. Like it's just like
Instagram. I was gonna say you're replying on WhatsApp so early. I was like, do not disturb. I don't want to hear this.
Yeah, I'll jump on. Like, that's because we had a launch this morning.
Yeah, I still was like, nope.
But like I will not touch and open Instagram for that exact reason. So I'll just get a headache and I'll just feel so shit. And I also have Instagram notifications turned off, or TikTok, Instagram notifications, Snapchat notifications, all are off because that's just not where like when I open the app is then I'm going to do what I need to do and be intentional on there. But it's not how I want to start my day. And like, again, I'm actioning that by turning notifications off, setting that boundary. Once my alarm is off, I snooze, I have a cuddle, whatever it is, and then I'm up and going about my day and having, like I'm fully in just like Tory mode in the mornings.
Going on to the second one, which definitely intertwines with the first, is just like moving your body daily, but especially in the morning.
Yeah, I was going to say if you can,
If you can in the morning, I know.
And we're not saying go and do your fucking hardest leg day of the week in the morning. Just like probably don't do that.
Well, if you're working 9 to 5, like go do that.
Yeah, but like maybe you might have to. But be intentional. If you can get out for a 10-minute walk, a 30-minute walk, a 5-minute stretch, it's going to change your life.
Yeah.
And really everyone's going to sit there and go, yeah, whatever. Everyone says that. Have you tried it? Have you experienced it changing your life? Because if you haven't tried hard enough.
Yeah, literally.
I'm literally swearing.
I just like, there's no one that's actually, sometimes I go work out, I'm like, I still feel horrible. Yeah. But other times, majority of the time.
That's being human.
Yeah. Majority of the time, if you go for a walk and you come back feeling worse, something's wrong.
Yeah.
Like,
and that's
you just
like, okay, your body probably needs maximal rest.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, that's when you're self-aware and you're listening to your body and giving it what it needs. But 9 times out of 10, I feel like moving your body in some way, shape, or form is going to help. Even just
stretching your mobility, you feel instantly calm after and so relaxed and zen. So
I was going to book that class for us Wednesday and you're not even here.
So sorry. Next Wednesday?
Yeah. Anyway, touching back on the practice gratitude, this is easy, all right? Get your little phone out. You're on it 24 fucking 7, okay? Get your phone out and write 3 things you're grateful for.
What are 3 things you're grateful for?
I'm grateful for
An airplane.
an airplane to be doing FIFO. I'm grateful for the opportunity that's come my way. I'm grateful for the life I've built to allow me to make everything work that I want to do. Mm-hmm. And I'm grateful for Ziggy because we love Ziggy. What are yours?
I'm also grateful for Ziggy, but just dogs on the beach in general.
Yeah.
Like, they make me so happy.
Yeah.
I'm also grateful for financial freedom.
Yep.
And not stressing if I can or not buy a coffee in the morning, because that makes me so happy. And I'm really grateful for our community.
Yeah.
And like what we have built with the podcast.
Yeah.
So fun.
Period. And that's like 2 minutes tops.
Oh, it was like 30 seconds.
Yeah, like literally. And it might be hard. And challenge yourself to not write the same thing over the week. Like, don't repeat anything for a week. So that's 9 and 12, 13, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 21. That's 21 things you're grateful for over the week that don't cross-connect. 21 different things. And the next week you start again. And really just like each week you'll get deeper and deeper. Some weeks it'll just be like, oh, I'm grateful for like my hair today. Cool. Yeah. And then the next week you might, or 3 weeks later you might be like, I am grateful for my mother birthing me.
For being vulnerable in this specific situation.
Yeah. Like you'll just get deeper and then you'll realize that's where self-awareness comes from too, because you're starting to like be grateful about your life and what's happening.
Do you remember, because I don't, so I'm asking you this, when we went to the Cool to Be Conscious event, they were speaking about gratitude and they said a specific quote and it's, I was going to say stuck with me because I don't remember it, but it was so good and it was something about, oh, no, it's not going to be there if you don't, if it's not triggering anything in your brain. Remember. Yeah, okay, let's just ignore it. Bye, next.
The next one is limiting negativity.
Yeah, get it out. If you have the news on in the morning,
get it off.
What are you actually doing? They literally try to make you scared. They try to make a fear come within you. My family used to always have the news on in the morning. I think they've stopped that now.
Yeah.
Do we even have access to the news in our house?
No, we don't have access to TV.
Yeah, ever since I moved to Queensland, I do not watch the news. I've removed the news toggle on my phone because sometimes I would randomly swipe and see something. It's all gone. I feel like I'm living in a secluded bubble and it's the best feeling in the world because I can't change Trump's decision in America. There's nothing I can do. You
can't control the politics. You can't control what they're doing in Japan. Like, none of that is in your control, so why do we let it affect?
And I know they say, well, like, it can be because if we all go together, I'm like, okay, but I'm not. So
but like, also, you know, it's not really going to, they're going to do what they want to do at the end of the day. They are that high up because they're going to do what they want to do.
There's so much going on behind the scenes. I bet that even if you voted someone else to be a president, that person's probably not going to be it.
It's great to have awareness. It's great to know what's going on in the world. It is great to touch in, like maybe like, oh, yep, just, okay, Trump's president. Okay, cool, yep. And then walk away.
Go King! Next.
Like just be aware. You don't have to go into spiral holes and, know everything that's going on because it's not going to help you. It's going to put you in a negative mindset. Like my mom's ex-partner was like news, morning, night, before school, after school. It fucking drove me insane. It's just like, I can't handle it. We have lo-fi beats, we have YouTube, we have Netflix. Like, what is going to, again, make you happy? Not the news, let me tell you that much.
I also think there is definitely a line of being educated, but the news is not going to educate you. My dad is my resource. Yes. The other day, I felt good enough to ask a few questions about a few wars going on in the world. And I was like, I actually need to be educated because I'm so confused when people comment these on TikTok. So I just want to actually know the behind the scenes. And he broke it all down for me in like a very, definitely not positive way, but like a very actually like science, like literally the facts and the history of it rather than being like this XYZ is happening. He told me the history and I'm like, okay, I feel educated enough now to have a discussion, but I don't need to know how many people they've killed today. Yeah. Irrelevant. Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah. Different. And also just aside from the news, your social media, you can unfollow, you can mute, you can block, you can do what you need to do to make sure that your phone, your environment, your social media is a positive space for you to grow, be happy and grateful for what you're doing.
You can also unfollow. If someone has an app that says like who's unfollowed them, they're crazy. Like
that's their own problem.
You can unfollow people like they shouldn't know, number one, and they shouldn't care, number two, and it should not matter, number three. Like I honestly say, like, right here, right now, go onto your phone, go into, you know how, like, you can go into who you're following, go from latest to earliest? Go from latest because it's going to be the first few people you followed.
Or you can do least interacted with.
Least interacted, another one.
Yeah.
And just go through it and say see ya to, like,
I'd say I do it every, like, I've probably done it twice in the last 12 months.
Yeah.
Maybe 3 times.
Oh, I do it, like, once a month.
Yeah.
But I do it, like, it'll be, like, 2 people that time. And the next one will be, like, 1 person.
Yeah. And it will, like, chop and change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, final one is doing something you love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's something you love in the morning and brings you happiness?
I would say seeing Ziggy on the beach. He's just so happy on the beach.
He loves it
just
so
like
much.
You should have seen him. He ran after this dog that literally looks like a polar bear. And he was doing like these leaps where he would like lift his front legs up and like he was just like popping. It was the funniest thing ever. It was
His
so
prancing
cute.
is so cute.
Yeah, he has the cutest prance.
Yeah.
Just seeing him at the beach, I'm like, yeah, I'm happy.
Yeah. If you're happy, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Mine's probably getting my morning coffee.
Yeah.
They now know me.
If I drank coffee, same.
Yeah. You probably save so much money though. Like you've probably saved thousands.
Yeah, probably.
Like literally, I think I calculated to be 2,000 a year. But I'm like happy with spending that on coffee. That makes sense to me.
It works.
Yeah, like I feel so good off it. So like I'm paying 2,000. I could pay $2,000 every year to feel happy. I would do it.
Yeah.
So technically it's working.
Technically it's free because it's making me happy.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's just like, again, write a list on your phone. And I have a list on my Notion and it's called my dopamine menu. And it's literally all the things that like, it's a bike ride, it's a sunset walk, sunset dinner by the beach, like all the things that I can just sit and go, like I feel good.
Yeah.
Have a list on your phone. So on those days where you're like, I need a dopamine hit of the things that make me feel good, pick something from your list. Write them on a letter, put them in a jar and pick it out and like have fun with it. It doesn't have to be a chore of things that you have to do. Again, it should fill your cup up and make you happy.
Most of the time, a dopamine hit isn't instant either. It's more so like it takes a while, like not a while, but like a few minutes or 30 or an hour. Example, like, yeah, I can feel so good after eating a whole block of chocolate while I'm eating it. I can tell you 30 seconds later, it's not going to make me feel good. It's probably not going to make me feel good the next morning. But for example, a sunset ride, you may not feel good like the first 5 minutes because you're like fucking tired, want to get home. 10 minutes later, you're going to feel really good. And that's going to have a flow-on effect. So most of the time, the things that make you feel good, it takes a little bit to get into them.
Yes.
Yes.
Packed filled of finding happiness today.
Yeah.
That episode.
So if you guys aren't happy after this episode, I don't know what else we can do.
And just like at the end of the day, happiness isn't about what you have, it's about how you live. So yes, we chase materialistic things. Yes, we want this and that. And that's so fine. Like materialistic things can bring you happiness, but I do believe that it is the day-to-day things that are going to bring long-term happiness.
Yes. And also, yes, they can still bring you like happiness. Like example, it's going to feel so good when you've paid off your mortgage or when you've paid off a loan or something like that. But in that process, in that journey of trying to do that, you still have to do those things that make you feel happy. If you're so stressed, you need to do something that makes you feel good. Yeah. So I really hope that you guys took some value from that episode.
Yeah.
And you enjoyed it.
Please share this on your stories, tag your besties, but also we'd love to know your biggest takeaway from the episode. So you can comment on the episode if you're on Spotify or YouTube.
Yeah.
Or you can just share it on your stories or DM us.
Yeah.
That works. Or pop it in the community Facebook page.
There are so many options here. You go for gold.
But we just want to know one thing.
Yeah. Well, we hope you guys enjoyed today's episode and we'll be in your ears next week.
Yeah. Love you. Bye.
Bye.